Hi guys, hello everyone. Welcome to my show Crypto Daily. My name is Diksha and I'm the PR manager at Gator.io. And in this show, we generally discuss some of the latest updates that have happened in the Indian market and also what's been happening globally around Bitcoin, around cryptocurrencies, what's everyone saying, what's trending, what's not trending. Yeah, so we talk about a lot of stuff in this show, and let me know if you have any questions. So let's get started. So first and foremost, you know, uh, in March this year, the crypto ban was lifted in India, and after almost 6 months of that, we seen. But I was saying, yeah. So in around March, the crypto ban was uplifted in India, and after about 6 months of that, the crypto community, the DeFi community in India has kind of really, you know, become really large because there are a lot of new investors coming in, and this investment wasn't that, that major in the scene earlier, but then it has really, there are large numbers of, figures being invested in a lot of the DeFi market in India. So it's kind of being noticed now after 6 months, which is fair, right? Because it's just only now that we saw DeFi buzz coming in the world, like probably like 2 months ago or 2.5 months ago. So yeah, so that's something that I wanted to cover, and also some states in South India, and especially the state of Tamil Nadu, people are seeing an increase of crypto investors there. I mean, people, more of the youth which is trying to invest in crypto and trying to earn a passive income through crypto, and this is also because of the you know declining scenes due to the COVID. So people are really looking at crypto for passive income. So that's happening in India now. What's happening around the world? Obviously, we have a lot of the high gas fees in Ethereum has been the talk of the town for about a few months now, and that has led to a lot of things. Obviously, that has led to, it's kind of pushed Ethereum as a company to look for solutions, right? I mean, because this is not sustainable. And also, there are a couple of companies that have shut down because of this. And, recently, Unilogin is one company that shut down because, their onboarding solution is kind of seeing a lot of challenges. And due to the high gas fees of Ethereum, the cost of onboarding a new user has kind of shoot up to more than $130 on some days. So yeah, I mean that's really sad, and that's the reason these guys have shut down. And also, a progress report on EIP 1559 promises a significant change to Ethereum's soaring fees that we've seen. So yeah, I mean, before this, the founder of Ethereum, Vitalik, guys, one sec. All right, I think I'm connected now. He had proposed in 2019 that the transaction price mechanism offers a fixed per block network fee that's more than dynamically expands. So the main concern is that the EIP 1559 could stretch blocks up to 3 times their current size, and any denial of service attack could now be 3 times as effective. So we need to see how this evolves. Now, blockchain, Block Native announces Mempool Explorer. Block Native unveiled their Mempool Explorer on Wednesday, calling it a missing link in the ecosystem, which kind of enables people to detect when more than $10,000 of liquidity moves out or moves in a specific protocol, or to find out when your smart contract is party to pending transaction or something similar. So it's an innovation. Now, talking about DeFi, right after um, So MakerDAO has kind of said that they will not compensate victims of March flash crash, and in early April, they kind of decided to refund washed out investors from March's Black Thursday's crash. And on Tuesday, large MakerDAO holders dominated a vote and decided against the decision, making whole the same investors who lost a cumulative of 8.3 million dollars. So yeah, I mean they have taken. This is how what they have updated, and participants were incentivized to vote against any compensation because I mean there were about 38 unique votes which were cast. So we don't know what really happened there, but that's what they have said, and this is what they've come up with after the decision they took in early April after the crash. The TBDC network, launched earlier this year, but quickly kind of, has taken on the bandwagon and has relaunched with unprecedented security measures in place, allowing users to deposit and redeem Bitcoin in DeFi without intermediaries. So users can now exchange BTC for TBTC and ERC20 token, which is for which can be used on the DeFi platforms. So each TBTC is fully backed and matched by at least one BTC, which are held in the reserves. And after the 3-day launch and then crash in August, last Friday, the DeFi token YAM has relaunched, and yeah, it had its first rebase with 571,000 dollars in YUSD that were added to its treasury. Now, something interesting is which talks about a new alternative to the buyback schemes that are going on. It's very interesting because Joel Munenko, I think he's the head of he's head of a company, and he examined the common, a very usual common buyback and burn scheme, and he pointed out that though this model works for currencies, right, it has pitfalls, and particularly for the governance tokens that are being bought back and returned. So, and he also went on to write that when it comes to capital assets like the governance tokens, issuance is key to capitalization. Like, I mean, how you issue these tokens is really important, and that's going to decide how much you can capitalize on the entire project. And burning can get in the way of growing fundamental value. So he defines currency. He kind of went on to say that a currency is an asset whose value kind of comes from an exchange, such as the way it comes from consumer goods and consumer services. So an asset used for governance or equity participation is capital, and he cites some MKR and ZRX as examples of networks that generate income in Ethereum but then redistribute value via their governance tokens. So he says that if you draw an analogy to the buyback schemes in the world, stocks buybacks typically do not result in sharing being destroyed, and they tend to be held by the company as treasury shares and just reduce the number of outstanding shares. On the flip side, what happens in crypto issuance is how a crypto network such as DAO or protocol can obtain the resource it needs for scaling and other operational stuff, right? So he kind of pointed out this is why tools like mining, proof of stake, and liquidity rewards can work so well, and there's far more, it's far more better to smart issuance, and smart issuance is far more better than there is in than getting to than being scarce in these tokens. So he then went on to talk about and kind of propose a balancer smart protocol that is 10% Ethereum and 90% of capital token that could kind of function as what he calls an automatic buyback machine, token issuance pool, and a liquidity provider, since it would automatically rebalance by selling excess Ethereum or the capital token to retain the ratio that has been lost or that has been gone out of the limit that we set. This functions as a buyback. And the post gets more, it's kind of an interesting perspective on how the buyback schemes can be tweaked and can be used, and to capitalize better through these projects. So yeah, that was, I think, something very interesting I saw. And also the Wi-Fi token, which is from Yuan Finance, was launched with and then it was launched, I think, recently, and with it kind of had a disclaimer that the token itself has zero value. And however, even investors disagreed with that initial assessment, and Wi-Fi was only limited to 30,000 tokens. It has reached, um, gained a lot of height in the price and soared up to about $44,000 since its launch. But how can such a wide-ranging crypto network be valued like this? So the newly formed mechanism capital did a deep dive and into the potential valuation methods, and discounting the usefulness of total value locked and the price to earnings ratio. And it kind of makes a case for how presently kind of shows that the conservativeness and the aggression forecast, with the bear market case being for 15,000 Wi-Fi value, and the aggressive case for being moving to about $315,000. Well, so this was about DeFi, right? And I don't know how many of you heard the Twitter CEO talk on the Oslo forum that happened. It happened this week, yes. I think yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday, and the CEO talked about a lot of things. They talked about how's Twitter shaping up the entire open to speech scene, for public. I mean, things that were not possible, Twitter has made possible. But at the same time, there are things happening for an agenda, and how they're trying to control that, how they're trying to control the fake news, the trolls, and things like that. And he also covered Bitcoin and blockchain in the speech, which is, I mean, this speech would have happened in person, but I think it happened virtually because of the COVID. But it was a nice speech, hearing from how Twitter really started, how it grew, and how people like us who've been using it are really responsible for a lot of its interesting features, like retweets and the tweet storms and things like that. But something that got my attention, is that he kind of went on to say that Bitcoin and blockchain are very much a future of Twitter. So I don't know what they're working on. I didn't watch the entire video, but I'm gonna catch up on the rest of the video. But it was something very, very interesting for someone in the community to see that's coming from him, because Twitter is a platform that's really democratizes speech, and it kind of gives you a platform where you can raise things that people don't talk about. And it is not just, I mean, you can be pseudonymously do that, or you can anonymously do that. So it's kind of really, it frees you in that sense. So that's I think from this one. And I think that's it for today, guys. And I really suggest that you should watch the speech, and also watch our CMO talk on Friday in her show. I'm sure she's going to cover all these interesting things again, and give a perception of what she thinks what can happen. Well, this was all for today, and thanks for tuning in, guys. And I will see you next week with something more exciting on my side. Thanks. Bye.